Welcome children. Last class we saw how France became a constitutional monarchy. This class we can see the topic France abolishes monarchy and become a republic. So last class we saw Louis XVI had signed the constitution and accepted National Assembly. But he entered into secret negotiation with the King of Prussia. Rulers of neighboring countries were worried by the developments of France and made plans to put down their events. The National Assembly voted to declare war against Prussia and Austria. They saw this as a war of people against kings and aristocracies all over Europe. So during this time, the patriotic song Marseillaise composed by the poet Roche de Isle, as sung for the first time by volunteers as they march into Paris. Marseillaise is now the national anthem of France. Marseillaise is the national anthem of France now. The revolution was brought losses and difficulties to the people. As we saw earlier, the Constitution of 1791 gave political rights only to the rich people of the society. Political clubs became important from rallying point of view, in which most successful club was that of Jacobin. Jacobin club was the most important successful club. Many political clubs formed in France during this time. Jacobin club was the most important. Its leader was Maximilien Robespierre. Jacobin club's leader was Maximilien Robespierre. The members of the Jacobin club belonged mainly to the less prosperous sections of society. They included small shopkeepers, artisans such as shoemakers, pastry cooks, watchmakers, printers, as well as servants and daily wage workers. Jacobin clubs formed in France. Its leader was Maximilien Robespierre. Their members belonged to less prosperous sections of the society. A large group among the Jacobins decided to start wearing long striped trousers similar to those worn by dock workers. They are known as sans-culottes. What is the meaning of sans-culottes? Those who without knee breeches. A large group of Jacobins decided to wear that knee breeches. So they decided to wear long trousers. That is why they came to be known as sans-culottes, meaning those who without knee breeches. Jacobin clubs planned a revolt against the people of Paris. Later, the assembly voted to imprison the royal family and elections were held. First we saw Louis XVI rule, then after that National Assembly formed in France. Now the newly elected assembly was called Convention. On 21st September 1792, it abolished the monarchy and declared France a republic. What is a republic? You studied in politics. A republic is a form of government where the people elect the government, including the head of the government. That is called a republic. You can try and find out about some other countries that were republics and investigate when and how they become a republic. Now we can see Louis XVI was sentenced to death by a court on the charge of treason. What do you mean by treason? Louis XVI sentenced to death by a court on the charge of treason on 21st January 1793. What is treason? betrayal of one's own country. So, Louis XVI was sentenced to death on 21st June 1793 and he was executed publicly. So now next we can see the reign of terror. What is reign of terror? From 1793 to 94 under Robespierre. Robespierre ruled 1 year, that is called the reign of terror. So in June 1793 the Jacobins seized control of the National Convention. The period from 1793 to 94 is referred to as the reign of terror under Robespierre. He followed a policy of severe control and punishment. Ex-nobles and clergy, members of other political parties, even members of his own political party who did not agree with his methods were arrested, imprisoned and then tried by a revolutionary tribunal. If the court found them guilty, they were guillotined. What is guillotine? Guillotine is a device consisting of 2 poles and a blade with which a person is beheaded. Dr. Guillotin invented this instrument, that is why it is called a guillotine. So now next part is the reforms of Robespierre. What were the reforms of Robespierre? Laws were issued by Robespierre's government. Laws were issued by placing a maximum ceiling of wages and prices. Meat and bread were rationed. Peasants were forced to transport their grain to the cities and sell it at prices fixed by the government. The use of more expensive white flour was forbidden. All citizens were required to eat the equality bread. So that were the reforms of Robespierre, and also equality was also sought to be practiced through forms of speech and address. Instead of traditional sir and madam, French men and women were addressed as citizens. Churches were shut down and their buildings converted into barracks or offices. Finally, Robespierre was convicted by a court in July 1794. So, Robespierre also in July 1794 arrested and the next day sent to guillotine. So, these are the reforms of Robespierre. Laws were issued by placing a maximum ceiling of wages and prices. Meat and bread were rationed. Peasants were forced to transport their grain to the cities and sell it at prices fixed by the government. The use of more expensive white flour was forbidden. All citizens were required to eat the equality bread. Then instead of traditional sir and madam, citizens came that men and women were addressed as citizens. Churches shut down and their buildings also converted into barracks and offices. Finally, Robespierre also guillotined in 1794. After Robespierre's rule, a directory ruled France. So next class, let's see directory's rule. Now we can see questions and answers related to this topic.